Strike Freedom Gundam.
Hey, how you doing everybody? This is Robert184 gundam.tk, continuing my look at the Master Grade Strike Freedom. Don't forget to check out the earlier parts for some details, including the fact that I painted all of the horrible gold parts with this pen. Otherwise, it wouldn't look very good. But anyway, it's time to look at the parts. Just remember that these are not as they are out of the box. When everything's put together, you're going to get the legs with the feet attached, this waist section, the chest section, which looks good, separate shoulders, which are not attached onto the arms, of course the head, and then you're going to get the massive backpack with these blue Dragoon parts that slide on and off easily, so they're ready to go shoot off. Now, in terms of weapons, you're going to get the beam rifle, two beam rifles, which you can attach together, and you're going to get these, the super whatevers that you attach onto the side skirts, and beam sabers that are not like Infinite Justice where you use an attachment. These you just stick together and make them into the Darth Maul style. You're also going to get this regular Strike Freedom action base, which is special, and of course it looks like its wings on the back goes well with Destiny's custom base. But what are you paying the extra money for when you buy the full burst mode? Well, you're paying extra money for this action base 1/100, just a regular one, nothing fancy, and of course it's in a little bit transparent blue, which is sort of cool. But the other thing that you're spending the extra money on, besides the 2 gold plates, are these clear parts. And I already mentioned these are going to collapse horribly. They're hardly even worth the bother. You're also going to get these little caps at the bottom to attach these into the action base, and these effect parts, which you use to attach the Dragoons onto those clear parts. But because the clear parts don't stand up, pretty much everything that you're going to get for this extra money, you can buy it by yourself. These don't work, these don't look that great, and you're only getting 2 plates that are gold, and there should be a lot more. You also get a very tiny, cute Kira and Lux. Right off the hop, I just want to show you what I mean by these different golds. The hand on the right, this is gold that Bandai gives you on that shiny, expensive plate. Looks great. Here you have the pukey gold that the whole rest of the inner frame is going to be made out of. But by going over it with that gold marker, as mentioned, you can turn it from this into this. And this, of course, is not as shiny and lustrous as this, but it certainly doesn't stand out in the same way when they're beside each other. Parts bottom to top, you're going to have the hip joint, which I painted, the splitting thighs, similar to what you see on the Infinite Justice, which is going to give you the 180 there, and you'll notice that this black part pulled up as this came forward. Again, lots of gold gets exposed, so you're going to have to paint a lot of that. The ankles down here, again, some parts are gold, some parts are painted, and the foot moves forward like this, so good mobility in the legs. Simple waist armor, but that still doesn't mean it's not good. With a red piece up there, a dark blue piece down there, a little bit of lining around there. It's pretty simple to put that in, good channels. That is done with my marker, it's not naturally gold. Here on the back, again, just some panel lines, and you're able to slide this part down, which allows you to swing these weapons around to the back, which can be quite useful depending on which pose you put this in. The chest is looking pretty good with a shiny part down there. You can add some, I've added paint around in the other places just to make it stand out. And if you pop that cockpit forward, you're going to have a very tiny Kira inside. Here, of course, the neck and the shoulders are able to slide forward, but a little bit weak here, so be careful that you don't break any parts, and that can slide on there. And this is going to be a very simple mechanism to attach the backpack on. And as you saw in the box tour, you're able to flip that forward and then bend the waist here as well. The shoulders come across as a little bit cheap on the Strike Freedom. You've got this part here, which looks okay, but the white parts, they don't fit together all that solidly, and this line doesn't look very good, especially if you wanted to cover it up with a decal. When you put this red part on there, be careful that you don't leave any ugly marks there, and a little bit of lining can go on that blue on the edge. The arm is very similar to Infinite Justice's if you've seen its review, and when you spin this around, of course you've just got the shoulder going up there. In terms of posability, or the bendability, you're going to get the 180 there, no problem. But this is the part that drove me crazy. Now you'll notice that those 2 parts are not gold. Well, this part is shiny gold from Bandai, and I've painted that. But if you didn't do that, you're going to have the pukey gold, and it looks horrible. The elbow is probably the worst culprit in terms of me not liking this kit unless you want to go add some more paint to it. Then, of course, the manipulators look fantastic with their shiny gold, and the gimmick is that this red part can bend up, and then you can pop the top half off and put on the blue shiny shield. The rifles, of course, are the Strike Freedom's famous weapon besides the Dragoon, and he looks great with them both out, or if you attach them together into the long one. In terms of colors, they're all pretty good, except you'll notice that this blue and this blue is different, and that's because this is a cheap sticker. And it sort of seems to me that if you're going to buy a Master Grade of the Strike Freedom, one of the most famous Gundams, that should have been a blue piece. Anyway, otherwise I'm pretty happy with the weapons. They've got this attachment here, they're on opposite sides on these two Gundams. And if you swing down this waist armor here and swing these gray weapons to the back, you're going to get a peg that comes up here, so you're able to hang these on here while having the gray ones and the beam sabers on the back. So a cool touch there. Now, for the transformation, I don't know if you guys remember the old Transformers where there were twins, but they turned into different things. Well, that's what these are sort of like. So this one slides down here, and then you're able to slide this forward and put that inside. And when you do that, you plug this one into the back, and you don't get necessarily a satisfying click, but they're going to stay in place pretty well. And this part extends just in case this double beam rifle needed to be any longer. On the side skirts, you're going to have this gray weapon and mounts here for the beam sabers, and those are sort of looking cool there as they stick jauntily up at a 45-degree angle. And of course, this can slide forward and this can pull forward. And I don't remember if they showed that in the anime, but anyway, why not add that on to this master grade, make it worth some extra money? And that's painted again by me, not quite that shiny. Here's the backpack, and it's looking pretty cool overall. Of course, that's helped by the very expensive gold parts here, here, and here. But you'll notice these parts are poorly painted by me. This is also shiny from Bandai. But good details like the fact that you've got these red parts on here, the gray looks good on there. But of course, the gimmick is, of course, how these work. And you'll notice here that on this side I've got these sealed up so that the Dragoons are in, but you just have to pop these down, and when you do that, you're going to get that. But the other big thing that's cool about these is a mechanism in here that swings them automatically. But please be careful of that, because if you break that and don't follow the directions, you'll notice that they're opening as you spin them forward. And sometimes that's easy to do, and sometimes it's not. But that is looking very Strike Freedom-ish as soon as you do that. And if you pop them all out and make them look uniform, even better. So there they are, fully extended. Nothing fancy about these blue parts. All they do is attach very, very easily, which is a good thing, but they stay on pretty securely. Put a little bit of lining in there, and of course they're hollow, which we'll use for the effect parts. When you combine this blue part with the Dragoon by putting that in, and then attaching this clear part into there, here's the kind of effect that you're going to get right here. So it's got this little whooshing tail as it goes off, and I bent these almost directly to Bandai specifications that they laid out in the instruction manual. But if you put this in the action base, over time, the weight of this has just brought it down to the ground, which means these are completely useless. And the fact that these effect parts add that much more weight, very poor design. Here's the Strike Freedom custom action base. I don't really know why they give you both in the master grade full burst mode, but anyway, they do, so you might as well use it. And this attachment is going to fit into the waist section. Nice little bonus, however, that at the bottom of this base, when you pull out the plug in the bottom of the waist unit, you can plug it in here so you won't misplace it. If you're familiar with action bases 1/100th or 1/44th, you'll recognize that. But here are, except it's in clear blue, which is sort of cool. But just to put this in, you're going to have to plug this part in, and then plug this part in, and then plug this part in. So 3 parts needed just to get this attached onto the Strike Freedom. Could have been done a lot better. And if they're going to give you this many parts, why didn't they put one that can go into the backpack? You've heard a lot of negativity up to now, but nothing bad to say about the head, except for the fact that I wish that I could line a little bit thinner. But anyway, when you put that on, it looks pretty good. Just a couple pieces when you plug that in there, a seal on the back, plenty of good lining. The fact that they give you the gray part around the mouse, something that they didn't do in the high grade, etc. So that's great to see, good deep channels there. The V-fins of the Strike Freedom look fantastic. The gold eyes shine out, as do the fact that they give you the proper gold parts for just under the Vulcans. So full props here for the head. Just based on the parts, I'm not all that positive so far, but that could change once the mobile suit is together. Stay tuned for the next part. Robert184, thanks for watching.